What's up, everyone? Welcome back to West Seattle. It's Ben back, and this time I have the new Storm Lightning Blackout. This is a ball that's pretty nostalgic for me. I remember this ball being out on the Proshop shelves back in '96, '97. It was like right before my favorite old school ball, the Blue Thunder, was out. So I always wanted to throw one back then, but I never got a chance. So now I get to see what the new updated version might look like. I got some other balls to take a look against it in a spot of where I might use it, sort of when the lane is breaking down, a little transition. So today I threw a ton of shots with a sanded up Gem and a sanded up Sunstorm just to kind of get the lane not fresh house shot. We'll see how this and the others perform, and it'll kind of tell me how it might slide into my bag. Numbers for this ball, 253029. Which means that it's a little medium higher RG, so it doesn't get into a spin too fast. Gets down the lane, it's supposed to store a little energy. Diff-wise, it's lower flaring, sort of like IQ Tour, stuff like that. I really like low flare balls, and so I'm hoping I'll like this one. The cover is probably my favorite cover right now, REX Pearl. You can find that on the Infinite Physics, on the Vibo, on Dark Code, on the Fate. And so we'll see how it does on this kind of unique core, the Warp Core. But before we throw that, we're just gonna get a baseline. IQ Tour Ruby, another ball that I might be throwing at about this point in transition. Let's just see what the lanes are like now. I actually haven't even thrown this ball yet since I started breaking it in, so let's see what we got. Terrible shot. Ooh. So yeah, the IQ balls, IQ Ruby included, some of my favorite balls. In particular, it's the core, that C3 centripetal core. It gets into a spin quick, it's low RG, but it's also low flaring. So it's kind of a unique shape for transition. It's kind of my favorite when the lanes start to get toasty. That first shot kind of showed me though that maybe this lane isn't as broken in as I'd actually be using this stuff, but slow down a little bit. R2S on the cover, so on paper that's a weaker cover than REX Pearl, which is a blend of that cover, R2S Pearl, and NEX, kind of smash them together. Let's throw one more West Seattle chamois. See what it is if I open it up just a little bit more. I don't think it's time for it right now, but if you're testing a ball like this out, this is maybe about the time you'd be throwing at it. Backdoor that 1, 2, 4. Let's get out of that. Missed right, but it's really not the time to be throwing that. So weaker cover. Let's jump into the blackout. What I'll shoot against it is the other blackout, Virtual Energy Blackout, which is probably my favorite ball right now that's out. It should be a very different ball. I'm only gonna throw a few shots with that Vibo because it's got the blackout name in it and the same cover, but the core is vastly different. Anyway, Lightning Blackout. Stand in the same exact place, sliding at 33. Well, threw it a little more inside than the Ruby, and it definitely does not flare as early. It seems like it might flare as much, so it doesn't flare a lot, but it's taken a little bit longer to get down the lane before it starts to tip over. Yeah, so I don't know if you can see the yellow engraving kind of gives an indicator. The three phases of a ball going down the lane: skid, hook, and roll. You can see that yellow engraving just taking a little bit longer before it starts to go from hook to roll. Higher RG will do that. That'll be the main difference between this and something like the C3 centripetal core in the IQ stuff. Let's throw one more. In fact, actually, let's throw back to back to back. So we got. All right, so there's back to back to back shots. I actually really like it. In all honesty and transparency, I've actually already thrown it prior to today. I threw it for 2 or 3 frames the other night for the last night of men's league, and it looked good. The condition that particular night, though, wasn't quite right friction-wise. Maybe needed to get a little more broken in based on who was bowling on it, etc. So I put it away, but this is the first real look that I'm giving it. It's nice. When there's some defined friction, this ball doesn't leap off the spot, which some weaker balls, when you have dry lanes, a weaker ball that you might go to, sometimes they store so much energy because they're so weak, they're not reading the front part of the lane, they're saving everything for the end. They can kind of flip off the spot, and controlling the pocket becomes kind of hard. And the Vibo cover, I should say the REX Pro cover, spin on a few things, is pretty much perfect for these types of situations. So let's get out of that for a sec. And the other ball that I brought to kind of take a look at is the Fate. And the reason I chose the Fate was because same cover as the Lightning Blackout, the Vibo, Infinite Physics, Dark Code. So what's the difference between this and the Blackout? Well, this one has a little more differential, a little more flare. So you can kind of see that it's starting to kind of make the corner a little earlier. It's bringing everything a little closer to me. Those flare rings are just kind of getting it to kind of scoop up the oil a little earlier. It's nice though. It's actually become one of my favorite burn balls, favorite high friction lane balls, favorite lanes are starting to get a little bit toasty balls. So let's throw 1 or 2 more. That one actually was 2 left of where I had lined up with the Blackout. So let's go where I was with the Blackout and the Ruby. So I moved 2 right. That was me kind of anticipating it, getting into the friction earlier. So coming off the spot a little stronger, especially with that higher diff. And so I actually got the speed up a little bit more. It's versatile, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It allows you to kind of change speed, hand positions, that sort of thing. And it rolls pretty dang good. Fate was sort of a understated, really good option. So 1 more with the Fate. This time I'll move another 2 left off that first shot. So now we are 6 left off of the shot I just threw. Slow down a little bit too. Well, slipped, ice skated out there. That's me. But the ball took care of the rest. The higher diff just gets it to read a little earlier. So even though I moved 6 left off of the shot before that one, has no problem. It's a great burn ball. All right. My favorite ball currently right now, well, second to IQ Tour Solid, Virtual Energy Blackout, or belovedly called the Vibo for the cool kids. This ball does everything. I turn to this first. When the lanes start to get a little broken in, this ball comes in first. This is now going to be 2 right of that last fade shot. Perfect. Ball is so easy to control. It helps that I've been throwing that weight block for many years, that HD shape block, weight block. I probably liked it the most previously in the Virtual Gravity Nano Pearl, mouthful of a name. Then this ball came out, and this is actually my second one. I drilled the first one with a stronger pin, and it was good. It's a little much though for this. Drilled it with a smoother pin. That was kind of in the middle of all those balls. Let's go 5 left, why not? Right here. So now, pretty much sliding at 39.40. Still looks good. Ball can kind of be played from anywhere. Here, there, anywhere. It's maybe not the best to play it right for me, but if I really got the speed up, I could probably do that. Let's get out of that. Because the ball's core is so different than the Lightning Blackout, the Fate, and the IQ Ruby, I just wanted to kind of show the other Blackout ball. So good though, so highly recommend if you don't have one of those. That one will go in all of my bags. Let's go back to the Lightning Blackout though. And let's move around and see what its limits are. In fact, speaking of limits, let's go where that last Blackout shot was. So sliding at 39. Can this Lightning come back from there? Well, let's find out. I guess it got back. I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm trying to compare it in my mind to the Vibo. They're just very different balls, so I should see it differently. This is a weaker ball. It's a little behind the head pin. I don't like that line for it, but we want to find its limit, so let's go another 3 left off of that. I'm now sliding in the gutter. Sliding in the gutter and the speed way down. I just didn't think it would come back, so I kind of slowed the speed down. It looks great. So what I'm seeing so far is this ball might be amazing for when the lanes start to break down a little bit. The cover, like I said, it's on the Vibo, it's on the Fate, it's on some other things. It's very clean. It's also user friendly. You can change it with surface pretty nice. I've done that a bit, especially on the Infinite Physics. Let's go the opposite. We're gonna go 12 right and go a little bit back on the approach, pick the speed up, see what's up. Kind of missed in and threw it bad and everything. REX Pearl is super responsive, so that makes sense. I think I can clear it through with the hand change though, hand position change. Let's try one more from a line I don't think I'd ever use this ball on, but let's see how it goes. A little closer, but again, that kind of cover, that REX Pearl, super responsive. So if I'm starting it in the dry, it's taking all that energy from the dry. It's just gonna get offline a little less favorably than I'd like. Let's throw a few more where I think it's optimally matched. Take one more look at those and we'll wrap it up. So I think, so far my eye has seen, it's probably optimally about here, sliding at 31. Yeah, about there. Well, almost. Probably didn't come off my hand as great. But you kind of see it's a nice line to the pocket. Let's go another back-to-back-to-back. Layout-wise though, before I do some back-to-back action, this is my standard layout I use on a lot of sim stuff. Kind of a weaker layout. It's 5 1/4 by 60. Yeah, kind of like that. Maybe it's starting to break down more. I mean, that's good. Now we get to see what I think this ball's greatest strength is the breakdown. So throwing a lot of shots. Before I started with a very sanded gem, throwing a bunch of shots with this stuff. Oil's getting changed up. Let's move 2 and 1 left. Let's get out of it really quick. Let's throw 1 each with the comparison balls. And then we'll have it be good. These are all the same layout. Ruby is 5 1/4 by 60. Fate is 5 1/4 by 60, and so is the Lightning. Just gets down the lane a little longer. I think that is a factor of the weaker cover, the R2S, which is really, really good on a lot of things. But just comparing it to this one, it's a little bit weaker. This ball will always go with me too. Fate, same cover again as the Lightning Blackout, but more flare, higher diff. So that's from the same spot as the Ruby. And that extra diff, that more flare potential, just gets it to attack the lane a little harder, like that. You know, throw one more with that one, because I'll just show you what I mean. So let's do 2 1/2, split the difference. 2 1/2 left. And miss right, and, well, who knows what that comparison was. Bad shot. I mean, 10 back, but bad shot. Okay. Now, while our eyes kind of seeing each of those balls, back in the Blackout again. Same spot as that a little farther left one with the Fate. Yeah, so my brain isn't wanting to trust it out. To me, so far, how I'd have this ball kind of fit in the rest of our line is, if you look at something like the Hustle line and the Hyped line, it's sort of like the lower end, and then a little above, kind of 2 steps above that, you have the Exponent Pearl. This one kind of slides in between that stuff, I think, which is not something we have covered. So it's nice. It's kind of like what the high road stuff does. So like the road and the high road, that core, that combination of what the RG is and what the differential is not something kind of common across lines. And so gaps can kind of appear when you don't have something that fits that. And this is sort of a nice gap filler, at least so far as I'm seeing. I think with this 5 1/4 by 60 layout, I might actually be interested in drilling another one. It's a little bit stronger. Because I was actually talking with Kendall Miles and Zach Trevino the other day here, and they were saying that actually that 5 1/4 by 60 kind of pin in the middle finger, which is what it is for me, that's something that Trevino was saying that he also has as his weaker layout. It's kind of my weaker layout. A ball like this could look really good with a slightly stronger layout too, so I might give y'all an update with a second Blackout drilled a little bit stronger. Okay, well, REX Pearl's been on a small handful of releases in the last few years. I think in my bag, where this would fit specifically, is it would be right before I'm ready to think about pulling out the Ruby. I need to move left, but not too far left. So it's kind of cover strength dependent. That's when I think this comes out. kind of miss it off my hand there. So one more good shot and call it a day. Be curious to hear from you what you think your go-to transition toasty lane ball is. This one might make the bag for me. West Seattle bowl's pretty clean. Not too much friction, but looks good on this too. All right, so what do we have? Stronger, more modern cover, REX Pearl, which has been successful in a lot of recent things. Really nostalgic nameplate, Lightning. It's really cool to see that logo after 30 years. Still crossing my fingers for a Blue Thunder Pearl sometime down the line. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, so I'll let you guys know update of how that continues to go in my bag and where exactly it fits, and maybe I'll even drill a slightly stronger one too. But for now, that's all I got. I'll see you in the next one.